Welcome back to Starting Over for the Last Time. I am your host and identity coach, Coach Nkrumah. And on this podcast, we give you the tools, the insights, and the awareness to make your next restart the last restart. So, in the last episode, we talked about why your life can keep restarting without you even realizing it, how you can have intentions, plans, or you might even have some real momentum going. And somehow you just end up back in that same place again. Like we just can't understand it sometimes. It's like I feel like I'm doing everything that's right. I got my routine together. I've been listening to my motivational speeches, but for some reason, something is happening that causes me to go back and have to start at zero again. And here at Starting Over for the Last Time, we're giving you what you need to make sure that that does not happen to you again. So, one of the things that kept coming up, not just in last episode, but in a few episodes, is structure, or more accurately, the lack of it. Now, I've been studying this stuff for a long time. So I have a lot of words and phrases and neurological stuff that I come not that I come up with, but that I say all the time, and sometimes I take it for granted that people might know what we're talking about, and that's why this episode is important because I kept talking to you guys about structure, and I want to make sure that tonight we fully get you to understand what that structure is and to help you build that structure. That's what this episode is all about, how to build a structure that can hold the life you want, because that's what's happening. Yeah, you might be doing everything, but if you don't have the proper structure to hold it, let's imagine, you're building a house or anything. You're building everything on the inside of the house, but you don't have the structure outside, the bricks to hold it. And then what happens? The wind blows, the rain comes, different things happen, and you end up back at square one again. And that's what we are going to prevent here with what we're teaching tonight. So most people believe the hardest part of life is getting what you want, getting the opportunity, getting the money, getting the peace, getting momentum, becoming a different version of yourself. But honestly, that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is holding it once it arrives. In the words of the poet Jadakiss, it's easy to get money, but it's hard to keep it. A lot of people touch the life that they want or some semblance of it. They get disciplined for a season, their business starts moving, their mindset improves, their relationship improves. Then something happens. Energy drops, stress increases, old habits come back, and it feels like life reset all over again. And that's what we really dealt with in the last episode. What most people never realize is your life is always supported by a structure, whether it's a structure that you created to hold life as you go up, or a structure that the life that has lived you, not the life that you've intentionally lived, but the life that lived you built to continuously bring you back. There's always structure. There's always a structure. The question is, what is the structure holding your life for? Is it holding your life in place where it is, or is it holding your life for the future? So even if you didn't build a structure, your mornings have a structure. Your stress has a structure. Your distractions have a structure. And today we're going to talk about how to build a structure that can actually hold your future, that can actually hold your dream. Because if your life expands, but your structure doesn't, eventually everything collapses back to whatever your system can handle. And y'all know we did the nervous system episode 1, we did the nervous system episode 2. Make sure you listen or watch both of those to really understand what's going on in the body. Now, what do I mean when I say to hold your life? When I say hold the life you want, I'm talking about capacity. Can you sustain it? Is one thing, to make $100,000. It's another thing to make $100,000 and be able to reinvest $100,000 and then get to $1,000,000. It's another thing to get to $100,000 and then completely just start blowing your money. Can you sustain it? Because success creates pressure. More money, in the words of Christopher Wallace, more money, more problems. The money creates more pressure. The status creates more pressure, more responsibility, more decisions, more expectations, more attention. And pressure, get this, always exposes weak structure. And we see this all the time. Someone makes more money, but suddenly their stress goes through the roof. And we got people talking about, I wish everybody could have the money that they want so they can realize it ain't what they want. No, it's what we want. You just didn't have the structure. Whenever you hear people saying, having it all isn't, what it's cracked up to be. Now, our life should not be dedicated to things. Now, we need to be operating under the vision that God has given us. We have to be operating in our anointing and our gifts and our calling, but there's nothing wrong with having all of the things that you want in life. But those things can't have you, but it's okay for you to have those things. Now, when people start telling you once you get what you want, life gets bad, when like somehow not being able to pay your bills is good. It's like, no, those people didn't have a structure. That's why they got everything that they wanted. They have everything that they wanted, but life is still bad, or life seems bad to them because they didn't have the right structure. They can't hold it. They don't have the capacity to have the things that they want and peace. Ooh, that's good right here. They don't have the capacity to have everything that they want and joy. They don't have the capacity, some people don't have it, to have everything that they want and still be kind. They don't have the capacity to have everything that they want and be loving and nurturing and caring. It's not the things, it's them. And that's why we're talking about building the structure, because the structure is all about capacity. What can you hold? All they can hold are the things. And if all you can hold are the things, yeah, life gonna look crazy. Life gonna feel crazy because you don't have the capacity for peace in your life. You don't have the capacity for happiness or any of these. All you built was the desire to get things and have things. And that is why this structure is so necessary. Because I want to have everything I want to have. But guess what? I'm building a structure to where when I have every single thing that I want, first of all, I still got God. See, I know this is not a religious podcast, but I am a man of God, first and foremost. So the one thing I'm always going to have the capacity for is God in my life. So no matter how many things I get, the first capacity I have is God. A lot of folks, the things are their God. and their God is giving them what they want, those things, and that's it. And that's why they're telling you, you don't really want everything that you want. No, I want everything that I want, but I gotta put God first. Because the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and then all of these things shall be added unto you. And I'm unapologetic about wanting all of those things, but I'm gonna seek the righteousness of God first, and God is going to give me the capacity to continuously operate the way that I should be operating, and to continuously be the man that I'm supposed to be, and to continuously love the way I'm supposed to love, and behave the way I'm supposed to behave, and help those I'm supposed to help. All right, so let's get back. That was like I go on tangents sometimes. So we see, someone starts making more money, and then suddenly their stress goes through the roof. Someone starts healing emotionally, but goes back into environments that pull them backward. Someone builds momentum, and then they just burn out. It isn't always self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is real, but we got to stop blaming everything on self-sabotage. Sometimes their life simply wasn't designed to support expansion. I mean, that's just it. It's just you just were not designed. Achievement adds weight. Structure carries weight. Without structure, even progress becomes heavy. And eventually, the nervous system tries to return you to what is familiar. Ain't got nothing to do with you being lazy. It's just that familiarity feels safe to your body. So the question becomes, if your life improved tomorrow, could the current version of you sustain it? Or would your life changing change everything about you? They say money changes people. I don't believe money changes people. Money gives people the opportunity to be exactly who they would be if they didn't need anybody. So let's define structure. Because I know when people hear structure, they immediately think control or restriction. I was just having this conversation with my sister about God's rules. And we look at them as rules or commandments. And I had saw this meme, and somebody was jumping over this railing. Like, I don't want this railing keeping me in. I want to go further. And the other person was like, it's not a bound. There's a boundary or something. I forget what this is. It's wall. And he's like, it's not a wall. It's a guardrail. Yeah, it's not a wall. It's a guardrail. That's just because on the other side is a cliff. So the guy jumped off of a cliff because he felt like he was being boxed in when really he was being protected. So when we think a structure, a lot of times we automatically just think control or restriction, but sometimes the control parameters, it's not about controlling you, it's about keeping you safe. It's about protecting you. And we got to start to understand it that way. So this is, when we talk about structure, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about controlling you or restricting you. Structure is support. I want you to think about structure as your support. What is holding you up? Structure is the system that carries your decisions when your emotions change. Let me say that again. Structure is the system that carries your decisions, that carries your vision, that carries your dreams, that carries your aspirations when your emotions change. Because sometimes you ain't going to feel like it. Sometimes you're going to want to quit. Sometimes you're going to be tired. Sometimes you're going to be weary. Sometimes you're going to worry. Sometimes you're going to doubt. So your emotions are going to change. But if you have the proper structure in place, the structure is going to continuously carry the vision when your emotions don't feel like it anymore. Because emotions always change. Some mornings you wake up focused, some mornings you don't. Some days you feel confident, other days doubt shows up. If progress depends on how you feel every morning, your life will constantly restart. And that is one of the reasons why we're starting over and over again, because the structure isn't there, the system isn't there. So your life depends on how you feel. If you feel like you can get it done today, you're going to get it done today. But if for a week you don't feel like you can get it done, it's a week of you not working. And if you don't work for a week, then that's going to end up 6 months. I've been there before. Come on, I'm not judging. I ain't judging. I've been there. I've been there before. Structure removes the negotiation. Think about it like this. Motivation creates moments. Structure creates stability. So when you motivated in that moment, you could do anything. Once the motivation comes, it's like, I'll do it later. But structure stabilizes everything. And your brain actually prefers predictability. So when your environment and your expectations are clear, your nervous system relaxes. So if every day I have the structure in mind and I have the structure in place and I'm living within the structure, and the structure has its boundaries and the structure has its rules, and my brain knows what all of these things are, my nervous system never goes into fight or flight, because we can predict how things are going to flow to some degree. Not saying we can predict everything, but the structure helps with predictability, because you know how you're going to behave. You know how you're going to react. A lot of times your nervous system is flaring up because it don't know you, because you don't know you, because every day you're a different you. Come on now. So when every day requires new decisions and new discipline, new effort, exhaustion shows up immediately. Now, structure teaches your body that growth is normal and not threatening, because we done talked about this over and over and over again. When your body thinks something is knows something is unfamiliar, it looks at it as a threat. And when it looks at it as a threat, it literally does every single thing it can to stop you from doing whatever that thing is. Your body will fight you. Now, another thing, not only do people look at structure and might think control or restrictions, people think structure is just routine. But let's talk about the difference between structure, routine, and a to-do list, because this is really important, and sometimes it might confuse people. Structure is not the same as routine. Routine is just repetition. Structure is a full design. A routine says, wake up at 5 in the morning. Structure asks questions first. When do you sleep? What protects your energy? What happens before bed? What are you waking up toward? So that's different, because it's one thing to just tell yourself, all right, you got to get up at 5. And then you struggle getting up at 5 because you're going to sleep at midnight. You you didn't even ask yourself, what time do I go to bed? And you're trying to get up at 5 in the morning. How can you sustain? Again, structure is about the capacity and sustaining. How can you sustain that 5 a.m. wake up if you never set a time to actually go to sleep? Or if you never recognize that you don't say no to things and you're constantly being dragged everywhere, and that's pulling on your energy, or you don't even know what you're waking up to actually be excited about the next day, all of that. Routine can collapse the moment life gets stressful. Structure adapts because it supports outcomes instead of actions. The same thing happens with to-do lists. Most to-do lists are just are just anxiety written down. Everything feels urgent, everything feels important, and now your brain is trying to make 50 decisions throughout the day that drains your energy. So a to-do list manages activity, structure manages direction. Come on, I hope y'all getting this. Structure decides what matters before the day begins. So when you wake up, you're not you're not figuring life out again. Look, we wake up every day and figure life out again. That's no structure. That's no structure. Every day you're figuring out who you are. You're figuring out what you're doing. You're figuring out how you're doing. You're figuring out what you feel purposeful today. And that's why our nervous system stays in fight or flight, because we haven't created anything that's going to predict our days. So how does structure actually hold your life? So it definitely holds your life in powerful ways, right? First, it holds your decisions. High performing people don't make fewer decisions because they're smarter. They make fewer decisions because they already decided. I don't got to make 100 decisions a day if I've already decided 80 of those things, and this is exactly what they're going to be for the next 6 months. I don't have that stress of trying to figure every little detail out all day, every day. We have to make decisions that are going to last. That way we don't have to continuously make decisions every single day. Now, your work windows, they definitely exist. Thinking time exists. Creative time exists. You stop renegotiating with yourself every single morning when you know what you're going to do every morning and why you're doing it. Second, structure holds your energy. Now, most people organize time, but energy matters more than time. So if your best thinking energy happens in the morning, but distractions take that space, then your progress is going to slow down. Now, structure protects your strongest energy for meaningful work. So now I know, all right, this is structure. It's not about just get up at 5. It's at 5, I feel, and I don't know, definitely, well, it's actually neurologically understood, and there's always outliers, but the average person, their brain is working optimally between 4 and 7 a.m. That's when your brain is firing on all cylinders. It's like going with your circadian rhythm and everything. By the time the afternoon, you get brain fog by the afternoon. Now, so there's always outliers, people who can be up all throughout the middle of the night doing things, getting stuff done. I'm not saying nobody can do it, but I'm just saying structure is knowing. So that's the thing, right? So it's not about getting up at 5 a.m. When do you know when your energy is the strongest? So I know people who are like, yo, I work overnight. I don't get up until 1 in the afternoon, and I'm up midnight to 8 in the morning getting stuff done, because that's when I can get stuff done. That's what structure is about. It's not about choosing a time and just sticking to it. It's not what it's about. It's about doing things in the most efficient way. And when you understand that, you create the routine around the structure. Is that making sense? So the routine is the action. The to-do list is the action. The structure is the understanding and keeping it within the understanding. So it doesn't matter if my routine says I work at 5 a.m. or I work at midnight. The structure says this is when I am the most productive. This is when my brain is firing. This is when my energy is working. And so this is when I'm going to do the things that need the most energy from me. That is structure. Y'all getting this? Third, structure holds your environment. We don't like to believe this, but environment quietly controls behavior. Your phone placement matters. When I'm getting in the zone and I'm really working on something, I come to my workspace and I don't have my phone with me. I leave the phone that way. I don't check no social media. That way I don't check any emails. That way I don't check any text message phone. No, no. I leave the phone away from me because if not, I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna pick it up and do something. Your workspace matters. Noise matters. Access matters. Your brain responds to cues faster than intention. You hear something, you look that quick, you turn your head that fast. There's no intention behind that, but it got your attention. Might not see things are going to get your attention, but do the things that get your attention come from your intention? Or does everything just get your attention because it grabs you? And that's where the structure blocks those things out. Structure changes the cues around you, so forward movement becomes easier. And fourth, structure holds identity. Every action you repeat becomes evidence, and evidence changes how you see yourself. Eventually, your body stops fighting the direction you're going because it recognizes it as normal. Structure is what turns intention into proof. So you're creating your structure. I'm doing it at this time because that's the energy. I know why I'm doing it. I know where I'm doing it at, and I know why I'm doing it, where I'm doing it at. I know what things distract me, so I'm getting the things that distract me away from me. All of this is structure. So routine just tell you to do it. To-do list just tell you to do it, and then you attempt to do it, but then you have so much clutter in your life that prevents you from it. Structure is giving you all of these things, so now when you actually sit down to do it, it's easier. That's good to me. I don't know if it's good to you. Leave some comments, please. Leave some comments. Now, the most powerful thing, let's talk about how to build a structure that can hold your life. Let's talk about building this thing. Now, this doesn't mean creating some complicated schedule that's probably going to collapse in a week or two. This is a personal design, a design specifically for you to carry your vision, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals. Step one, define the life you're trying to hold. Get very detailed about the life you want. This is also, I think, step one in Think and Grow Rich. You have to specifically design what you want. Sometimes we have vague ideas about what we want, and then you can't create structure or even a routine for a life that you don't have a clear picture of. And most people skip this. They just have some vague idea. So they want improvement, but haven't asked what actually matters right now. Or I want to be better. But what about the better is right now that I need? What part of me needs to be better right now? Do I need more income? Do I need more peace? Do I need more conflict resolution? Do I need to be able to process my emotions more without allowing them to control me? Do I need more creative output? Do I need to work on my health? Not just I just need to be a better person. That's too vague. Pick 3 things that would genuinely move your life forward in this season. Not 10 things, not 20 things. What are 3 main things that you can become better in over the next 6 months that you can just work on that's going to take you into a new season? What is it? What are those 3 things? Write these things down. These are the three things that I'm going to continuously work on. I'm not going to keep working on a new thing every day because you never perfect it. Well, we're never really going to perfect anything, but we never get to an elite level, I guess. I'm trying to find the right word because it's all about these words are typically used when we're measuring ourselves with other people. So I don't know what I can't think of the right word right now, but the best, let's just say that you can't become the best version that you can be in a particular area if you continuously are working on different things. So the next 6 months, pick three things that are you believe are the that you know are the most powerful right now for you to work on that will elevate you into the next season. Step two, create anchor points. Anchor points stabilize your day. Now, we're not talking about rigid schedules, but stability markers. A clear start to your day, a protected progress window, a moment where your day shuts down intentionally. Even when chaos happens, anchor points keep your life from drifting. So, whatever that protected time is, first of all, chaos not going to get me because I'm getting my phone away from me, so nobody can't even reach me. Now, sometimes we're afraid of that. Somebody once said to me, what if I'm dying? Honestly, I'm not a doctor. Now, I want to be there for the people I love. Definitely want to be there for the people I love. But what am I going to do if you dying? If you call me, you should have called 911. Even if I get there, I don't even know CPR. What am I going to do? So I'm not afraid. Get the phone away. This is a protected time. If somebody wants me to do something during that protected time, no, I don't. From 3 to 7, I don't do that. I don't do nothing. So I mean, not that I'll do nothing. I do these specific things for myself. So if you want me to do that 3 to 7 on Wednesday, I can't do that. We setting boundaries. So those anchor times. Now, step three, protect one advancement window every day. Protect one, I mean, like with your life. This is important because maintenance is what keeps your life running. Advancement moves life forward. Now, one window daily dedicated only to growth, to writing, to planning, to building, to healing, to meditating, I just learned that humming lowers your cortisol. And that when it lowers your cortisol, it deactivates your vagus nerve. It slows down your nervous system from being all riled up and everything. So yeah, that's just something I learned, and I was excited about it, and so it just came out just now. So protect one window is like, listen, I don't care if the world is on fire. This window I have to protect. And the more you do that, the more your capacity expands. The more you do that, you get into that rhythm. And the structure is holding it. So it's not like rhythm before where you get a little momentum and then it just falls apart. No, because the structure is holding you up now. Step four, remove friction. Now, you got to ask yourself honestly, where do I keep getting stuck? Where do I keep getting stuck? What keeps pulling me back? What keeps stopping me? What's the biggest distract? What is it? Is it fatigue? Is it confusion? Is it unclear next step? What is keeping me stuck? When you look at the point in life, like, all right, where I've restarted 10 times. Where do I normally fall off at? And when you start thinking about it, you're going to see it. Oh, I normally fall off right here. Okay, so now I know where the normal fall off is. Now I can figure out a way to build myself up so that mm, that particular thing does not keep me down. So that becomes a part of your structure, and that removes that obstacle. Because before you wasn't even thinking about that, and so you just kept getting to the same spot and going back to zero. It's like what happens on Monopoly when you land on one of those things and you do not collect, go to jail and do not collect $200. You just keep going back. You keep landing at the same spot and you keep going back. Keep landing at the same spot and you keep going back. But now we got you looking at it to identify it. So now, as a part of your structure, you recognize the place of your most contingency, the place that always sends you back in that gas, right? Because structure asks questions. Now we can start asking questions. What about this always brings me back? What about this brings the worry? What about this brings the doubt? What about this brings the fear? What about, and once you start getting those answers, now that place that used to bring you back is a place that you can push past now. And you're not going to have to fight harder or get more motivated or get more disciplined. It's just that your understanding of it now is built into your structure, and your structure is going to hold you when you get to that point and move you forward. Step 5, a weekly review. Not judgment, adjustment. Every week, all right, what was I good at? What was I not so good at? Where was I the most motivated? What made me not feel so motivated? What supported me? What drained me? What actually moved my life forward? And then once you figure those things out, redesign it, because the structure grows as you grow. It's the difference between a routine and the to-do list. They don't grow. They're just do this, do that. They're just things to do. They're just actions. But the structure grows as you grow. Now, a lot of people are waiting to feel ready before changing their life. But readiness usually follows design. The truth is simple. The life you want needs support. Peace needs support. Growth needs support. Success needs support. If success showed up tomorrow, would your current structure hold it? Or would your life slowly pull you backward towards what feels familiar? Because if you don't design your structure intentionally, survival will define your structure for you. And survival rarely builds the life that you actually want. So this week, I want you to ask yourself one question. Who designed my day? And does that design support where I'm trying to go? Who designs my day? And does that design support where I say that I'm trying to go? Thank you all for tuning in to, I forget the name of my own podcast all the time, starting over for the last time. and for learning tonight how to build a structure that can hold your life. If you're this far, make sure you go to coachinkrumah.com or killingyesterday.com. Pick up a copy of my book, Killing Yesterday. Also, go to coachinkrumah.com/last-time. And we're doing a How to Start Over for the Last Time webinar this Thursday at 8 p.m. Register at coachinkrumah.com/last-time. I will see y'all in the next episode.